guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm participating in a homeschool tag collab. This is put on by Ingrid at Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles. It's an open collab, anybody can participate. I will leave a link to her channel down below as well as the playlist so you can check out all the other fun homeschool mom videos. So I'm going to just jump right in. Number one, how many children do you homeschool and what are their ages? Last year I homeschooled my daughter who's 10 and my son who's 7. This year we will also be including my son who will be turning 5 in a pre-kindergarten class. What is your homeschool schedule? Do we do regular school, year-round, full-time, part-time? So we follow our school schedule in our school district. So we started in end of August, beginning of September, and we finished in June. We didn't take quite as many breaks as they do because in New York State they're off in February and again in March, and it just ended up being like way too much time off. So we didn't take that many breaks, but we did pretty much follow their schedule. Do you take a summer break or do you have a homeschool summer schedule? We take a summer break as in we don't like do rigorous homeschool throughout the summer. So we took off June and all of July and part of August will be just part of relaxation for us and prepping for the next year. But in hopes of not like letting my kids like slack, I decided to do some summer prep, which actually I figured would start in July so that they had a little bit of a break, but now we're going to jump back into everything. When coming off of summer break, do you find it difficult to get back into your regular homeschool schedule, or do you have a method that helps you ease into your regular routine? So this is actually really our first year of like coming off of summer into homeschooling. This will be our second year of homeschooling. So what I plan to do this year is to ease into it, as in maybe start a couple subjects a day for the first week, not homeschool 5 days that week. Just really ease into it in the beginning, because I think that even as an adult, like when you go back to work from a vacation, you're like, oh, I have to work Monday through Friday. This is exhausting. So like just for the kids, I would just ease back into it. I think it'll be better that way. When homeschooling multiple children, what advice can you offer other homeschoolers in regards to teaching and planning for different age levels, including caring for a child who is not at the age to be homeschooled? So my son is 4 and he was not at the age to be homeschooled when we did homeschool. So a lot of times he would do educational things on the iPad. Or he would just play. We have a small home, so he could be in the living room and we were in the kitchen and we would see him. So that was easy. I had stuff for him to do, and if not, he just, made his own fun with his own toys because he was right there. It wasn't hard to keep track of him or anything like that. We did sit down and try to do some educational things with him as well. That didn't always go well. It just didn't, but we worked through it. As far as homeschooling, like 2 different age leveled kids, I tried to do opposite. So anything they could do independently, while they did their independent work, I worked with the other child on things they could not do independently, like math and English and reading. And so we piggybacked off of each other throughout the day and set up a schedule that way, and it seemed to pretty much work pretty well. Has your child ever attended public or private school, and any advice you can give to transition? So both of my kids attended public school. My son finished kindergarten and my daughter finished 4th grade before we brought them home. As far as transitioning, we just had a long discussion about what we were doing. They were very excited about being home, and we just, public school is just very different. The kids didn't seem to have an issue being home versus being in school because they were on the bus for an hour and, they were at school for a long period of time and they didn't have any freedom and they really seemed to enjoy being home. So transitioning them was not a difficult thing. We just started homeschool in the fall like you would normally start school. We tried to incorporate some fun things to do and activities. But we also just tried to give them the freedom of allowing them just to be kids and, come off of that rigorous schedule of school. All children are unique learners and have their own learning styles. So when it comes to homeschooling multiple children, do you use the same approach with each child? We did last year and we're going to this year, as far as like the curriculum choices we've picked for them match up and are very similar, by the same company, things like that. how I approach maybe math or reading or something might be a little bit different, because like my daughter already read, you know, so she was already like an avid reader because she was in 4th grade when she finished public school and came home, so she could read really well, whereas my kindergartner couldn't. So my approach was just about the same though, you know, you just have to work with them and, you know, practice being patient with them. And so we haven't really had to run into an issue of trying to change anything up yet, but time will tell this year. When purchasing curriculum, do you make a decision based on age, grade level, or by your child's academic strengths and weaknesses? Now, this year we did that. We changed a lot of things. Last year I had no idea what to buy, what to do. It's all trial and error, I feel like, in the beginning. So we did that though. We found that a lot of the math that my daughter was doing, she just probably would be easier to do it online. So we purchased teaching textbooks for her for 6th grade. As far as my son goes, you know, I didn't feel like he was doing really great with Saxon math, and so we purchased a different math curriculum. We didn't have enough history last year, so we purchased more history curriculum. So we sort of changed around everything that we did last year for this year, and I think that that's worked. And you know, as we go, we will definitely tailor it child to child. It will not just be this works for you, so you're doing this, because I think that that just gives you a headache as well as your kid, and you want them to learn the best way that they can. That's the whole reason you bring them home. Like, this is one of the reasons you call them home to homeschool versus sending them to public schools. You can tailor the curriculum to what they know and what works best for them. What coping mechanisms can you share that help you stay focused when you're facing an overwhelming day, such as a child grasping a specific concept or material in a lesson or subject, or if you've been unable to grasp the info and find yourself hitting a brick wall? Okay. First, I have a co-op of moms that I think are really great in helping when you are not grasping a subject. There's a lot of women there who have been there, done that. So I've had that opportunity to bounce things off of them. And if not them, then my husband, friends, family, you know, things like that. You know, I'm not a genius. You know, I'm a registered nurse, and I went to college, but I don't have everything down pat. So I think if there's a subject I struggle with, my kids are still little enough, it's not been an issue too much, but it's okay. We take a break. We get up, we leave, we come back to it the next day, we take a breather. I'm not going to be that mom if you don't understand it. We're not just going to sit there and suffer through it for 6 hours. I had a friend once tell me that it took her son 3 hours to do his math worksheets, and that would not fly in my home. Like, we would just, it's time for a break. You're not getting this. This is too difficult. It's time to move on. And then you come back to the subject with a fresh mind, a fresh attitude, whether it be that evening, that day, or the following day. Just take a break. What's the hardest thing about homeschooling? I would say for us, it's the scheduling, because I work. And so working around my work schedule and my husband's work schedule and things like that, that's probably been the biggest obstacle that we've run into. I have to cover my coworker when she's out of town. And so trying to fit in homeschooling while I'm working 5 days that week has been a little issue. And we can't just always take off of school. So that probably has been our biggest issue, is just trying to balance working with schooling. What is your own homeschool philosophy? I feel like we were led to homeschool our kids, that we were called to this place. And so that has really helped me just believe that homeschooling is what's best for our family. And I believe that the kids learn, you know, what's best for them, and we need to tailor it to them and just make it fun and enjoyable, because I just don't think that doing worksheets every day or sitting at the table is going to be fun. But I like to be fun. I like to incorporate fun things into the kids' learning, because I feel like life is not just boring sitting at the table working all day. What is your motivation, and what keeps you going and stops you from giving up? Just knowing that that this is the place we're supposed to be helps me to keep going. Also, I think that other people motivate you, like long about February when you're like, I'm so tired of schooling the kids, I just want to be done, because you get like this little like break at Christmas, and then in this, it's always snowing, it's cold, it's miserable here in February, and it was just felt like such a burnout. But I think knowing that every mom goes through it when she's homeschooling her kids, and that, you know, summer is coming and good things are coming, and just to keep going, and even in the hard days, I think it's really beneficial to find other people that you can kind of lean on in the midst of everything as well. I think that really helps. And just knowing that my kids are progressing, that they're facing challenges, and they're beating the odds, or that they're, you know, they've overcome this challenge, or they've learned some new subject. I think that that's exciting, and that really helps me to keep going. It's just they've mastered addition facts, and you know, that was a difficult task, or they moved on to a higher reading level, or you know, just the milestones that the kids are taking, I think, is also a big motivator. So that's the end of the collab, all 12 questions. If you want to participate, go ahead, leave Ingrid a comment on her channel, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of homeschooling, what motivates you to keep going. I would love to know, because I just think sometimes we all just get a little tired at some point. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.